Welcome back to the Sunday Spotlight, and tonight we have some important questions for you. Do you just feel right with a pint glass and a battle axe in hand? Are you especially proud of your beard? Do you enjoy sharing, let's call them strong opinions about elves with your drinking buddies? If so, you'll fit right in here. The Dwarves is a 2016 real-time tactical RPG with some interesting little quirks and surprising effort in its production. Mostly it jumped out at me from the name. It's kind of deceptively simple, but it's actually based on, or actually an adaptation, of a fantasy novel by Markus Heitz. I'm going to try not to distill it as Lord of the Rings, but with more dwarves, since I admittedly don't know anything about the plot, but that is my gut-level first impression just from the few minutes I played. There's a bit more going on, which we'll get to. The developer is German studio King Art, which has some titles under their belt. They're under the THQ Nordic umbrella, and they're probably best known for the Book of Unwritten Tales. Still a fairly small developer, but from what little I've played of this so far, there's actually some pretty impressive production values. Not a lot of prepared remarks this time, but I want to point out a few things as we go. Let's jump into the campaign and get started. And they kind of just throw you right into it. But yeah, basically, you control a let this intro play out.
Against orcs, ogres, and all the other beasts of Tion. We are the guardians of Girdlegard.
That is a man that belongs in a town named Girdlegard.
We are the Dwarves.
So yeah, we're sort of jumping right into it. Basically, big dwarf fortress, orcs attacking, get out there and kill them. So yeah, you control a set of heroes in kind of a top-down, real-time tactics thing. So yeah, pause the game anytime by pressing space, moves the camera with middle mouse button and the mouse wheel, kill the attackers. So yeah, we gotta jump down there and kill us some orcs. Let's get to it, Mr. Glandellen. Alright, leap attack. So yeah, we've got our special abilities down here. This one will get us over obstructions. Into the fray! Yeah, rip works. Hey Mirage, hey Eyes, good to see y'all. So yeah, like I said, it's basically a real-time tactical thing where you control heroes with special abilities and such. They deliberately start this off with a big raging battle with some high-level characters. We'll get another one in a second. Oh. Sort of jumped into a wall there. Your stamina meter replenishes pretty quickly. Your basic attack, you can see, doesn't do too much damage. You're kind of encouraged to jump in there and use your abilities. It's actually really hard to die in this opening sequence. Actually, I'm gonna slightly adjust the game audio here. We'll turn the music down just a little bit. But for an opening, it's honestly a pretty good soundtrack. What jumps out at me, among other things, is the presentation. Like, it's got a nice art style to the cutscenes. There's quite a bit of effort in the voice acting. As far as I can tell, the localization, it's fully voiced in English and German. And the dialogue comes off as pretty naturalistic, and there's some really nice attention to detail in cutscene animation. It's really hard to die in this sequence, but we can make it happen if we try. Exactly.
A present from the workshop.
Hey, we get some toys here. Excellent. Grenades. Click on it as soon as the use symbol appears. With the grenades, you can, well, be creative. Yeah, never doubt my ability to take something that should be simple and overcomplicate it. Alright. So yeah, about halfway through here, let's throw a few of these hot little potatoes right into the crowd there. So yeah, you can see Glandellen's abilities are largely about crowd control here, scattering big groups of enemies. High degree of mobility, just kind of bouncing around and taking out high-value targets. For the moment, it's just a meat wall that you're pushing against, and as far as I can tell, the friendlies here replenish when you're not paying attention. So yeah, another 13 kills should get us going. Alright, yep. Almost appropriate, Orange. Alright. Almost got enough kills here. There we go. But yeah, pay attention to the specifics in cutscenes. They do a pretty good job animating facial expressions and
My king,
direction.
what are you doing here?
Giselbert Ionai, the father of the Fifthling clan, has not been on the front line of battle against the creatures of Tion for many cycles. The king surveys the battlefield and the defenders with a grave expression.
We are too few.
This you know as well as he does. But there will be no reinforcements arriving. Hundreds of brave warriors lie inside the fortress dying. The illness is running rampant. It brings weakness and death.
Stay at your posts. Be as steadfast as the granite of which we are made. Nothing can break us. Vrakas is with us.
Oh, we are getting some peak dwarven ham here. Alright. So, His Highness joins us as our second squad member.
What?
His whole thing is basically force multiplying. He's actually got a heal here, along with some other crowd control abilities. So yeah. So you can pause your game. So you can pause and issue specific ability combos if you want to say, have Glandolin do this. We don't have enough juice here for one of his abilities. Yeah, kind of like in Shadow Tactics, where if you want to execute simultaneous commands, the game is pretty good about letting you do that. So now we got to take out these ogres, more problematically, catapults that are across the bridge.
Yes.
Fortunately, the rest are easier to shove around. Once we get these ogres down, they're kind of the heavies of this group. Alright. One down. And that's two. Outstanding. Alright, now we need to push into the fray here. So you see here, I've got both units selected, but one's kind of the focus character, and that determines which abilities are up for your hotkeys.
It will be so. Come here and die. Vrakas. Hammer time. On the way.
Yeah, here we go. Now we're pushing into the fray. There's the catapults. Nice and easy. Just sort of scatter their formations here. There's a kind of a Dynasty Warriors feel to it, where you're controlling specific high-level characters and kind of pushing into the fray. There will be a noticeable shift in the tone and pacing of the game, however, once we get past this sequence. That's kind of what I was talking about, how there's a bit more going on with the game. Alright, that's one down.
Be off with you. It will be so. For Vrakas.
I think I'll up the voice volume. It can be a little bit hard to figure out what works best for recording purposes. Alright. Chuck another grenade out there. There you are. Then there'd be dwarfs, Omosh, bucks, and orcs. Exactly. Yeah, we are getting some peak dwarf action in this sequence. Alright. Should be able to just focus this down and end it. Basically, once you achieve your objectives here, any other standing enemies essentially give up. There we go. I think there's one more combat sequence here.
We suffered great losses beating them back.
like a straw, you treacherous elf!
In his fury, the old king radiates a ferocious power that none of Citalia's children could withstand. But the slight, willowy being sitting astride the shadow mare just grins down, mockingly.
You are mistaken. We are Alpha. We are here to destroy the elves.
I like how you can tell just at a glance who the bad guy is here.
They're under our protection, and you cannot open the gate that has barred your path into Girdlegard since the creation of the world.
Not us, but perhaps one of your kind.
This cannot be. Silence, you fool! Vrakas, forgive me for what I am about to do.
Quickly, in formation! You must hold them back until I close the gate!
See, maybe don't key the gate so it opens to literally anyone in the kingdom. Exactly, around elves, watch yourselves. I like how in every adaptation, so-called dark elves are basically the whitest motherfuckers on the planet. Just, this dude has not seen a healthy amount of sun. But yeah, this is very definitely classic fantasy in just about every way. Just at a glance, you know exactly who the good guys and the bad guys are, and you get a pretty good sense of what the stakes are. Yeah, it's Elric and Mellabone. I dig the enthusiasm this guy approaches his work with. First publication, 1961. Yeah, it is the very definition of classic storytelling. Alright, we're just kind of bullying that orc here. Alright. Final rune activated, doors close. And that's a wrap. Dark elves don't need no vitamin D. I mean, I can sympathize with not wanting to be out in the sun. Gotta watch that backstab, bro. Damage multiplier is no joke.
Look at me. I am Syntheras, the Reaper of your death. I will take your life, and the land will take your soul.
Get out of my sight, pointy ears, and let me delight at the closed gate a little longer.
The gate may have closed, but when you rise again from the dead by the power of the land, you will be one of us, and you will open it.
Never! My soul belongs to Vrakas.
No. Your soul now
This dude kind of
belongs
sounds
to
like
the
Sindri
land,
from Dawn of War.
and henceforth you will belong to it forever. Now die, and return. Then hand us Girdlegard.
Alright, with the stakes established, we are now going to shift perspective drastically. So, quite a while later.
You're a perfectionist, Tungdil Bolafar.
I've got a reputation to uphold. If you can't rely on the metalwork of a dwarf, what can you rely on?
Hey, we got dialogue choices.
You look dreadful.
What a charmer.
The maid gives you an ironic, reprimanding scowl.
Ikana has been crying half the night.
When you were teething, I carried you around the vaults. You played with my beard and I sang you to sleep.
Frala smiles. She's heard this story many times before.
That was 23 cycles ago. I'm quite sure you didn't sing. You might have grumbled a bit.
If what you've read about the dwarven lifespan is true, it'll be another 300 sun cycles and more before you are called to the Eternal Forge. The certainty of one day having to witness Frala's death already burdens your heart.
So, yeah. We are now this gentleman, and we are the only dwarf in this here fortress. We're about to get a task of significance.
What can I do for you?
For me, nothing. It's Lot Yonan. He wants to see you in his study.
In your mind, you go through all the recent incidents that might have annoyed the Magus. Apart from a few little squabbles with his famuli, nothing worth mentioning happened since the incident with your beard. You nod.
Okay. I better not keep the Magus waiting.
See you later. There's goulash for dinner.
So yeah, at odds with the opening, we have us a sort of a proper RPG interface going on here. We sort of move around, your character does have equipment, we'll be taking on side quests and doing various things in accordance with our quests. One minor item of annoyance here, there does not appear to be any object highlighting hotkey. If you want to look around, you have to sort of pan the mouse around and actually, you won't necessarily know what you can interact with unless you
there are apparently dwarves
exhaustively search
who have
over
never
it. Bit of an
seen the
issue.
sky. And you too feel more
Pixel hunt,
comfortable
yeah,
when you
yeah.
have rock over your
Fortunately,
head.
it's not too bad about
If
that.
only you didn't long to see more of the world, a longing that grows stronger with
Anything you're meant to interact with will be reasonably obvious, but sometimes, like you'll see here, you won't necessarily know there's something on the bench until you can point at it and see. Oh yeah, we gotta take an axe. We're not a proper dwarf without an axe.
This is where you swung the forge hammer for the first time 30 cycles ago. No one taught you the craft. It was enough for you to watch Lot Yonan's old smith at work. Whenever the workshop was empty, you practiced and quickly mastered the craft with ease.
So yeah, because there aren't a lot of dwarves around here, in fact we're currently the only one, we don't really know a lot about being a dwarf or anything going on with Girdleguard. We're kind of just a dude.
Hey, groundling! Come to the kitchen, we need you.
Jolison, a 4th degree famulus and your favorite foe among the students of magic, gives you a disparaging glance and disappears without waiting for your reply.
And so we're just kind of going through just another day at the office.
Tangdale! Quick! Or the goulash will get burned!
Not the
You
goulash!
immediately recognize what the problem is. A chain running over a pulley for positioning the cauldron is detached from its mounting and the cauldron stuck in the fireplace. It's a heavy load and none of the famuli, who feel superior even during kitchen duty, dare do anything. They might burn their fingers, or even get a bit dirty.
There's a good sense of humor to the writing. I like the tone it's striking.
It'd be a waste of goulash. And I'm hungry. Here, hold this.
Can't skip your weightlifting day, bro.
With as much concern in your voice as you can muster, you say,
Oh, no, this doesn't look good.
you're pleased to notice he's dripping with sweat.
I'll get you back for this, groundling!
Alright, yeah, let's fix this thing. There, was that so
Damn
hard?
freak.
For a moment, you hope the famulus really does raise his hand to you. But then he comes to his senses and leaves the kitchen, his face bright red.
What a pair you are!
Wizards learn how to levitate stuff because they can't actually fix anything.
Vegetables,
This is canon.
bread, cheese, but the cook is not to be trifled with. Many painful knuckles have taught you that she knows how to handle her heavy wooden spoon, and that she may possibly have eyes in the back of her head.
Do you know what Lot Yonan wants?
The maid gives you an amused look. She has often accused you of making things more complicated than necessary.
Right, go ahead and ask him. So one nice little thing, you don't necessarily have to keep clicking to move around. So long as you just hold right mouse, you'll automatically move to where the mouse cursor is going.
Of the 200 or so people selected to learn the art of magic under Lot Yonan, there's barely a handful of them you can stand the sight of. You're not at all interested in magic in all its elusiveness and whimsy. Your realm is the forge.
That having said, our patron and friend is about to give us a quest of significant importance. Try not to think about the obvious parallels. Just try.
Master Lot Yonan, Frala told me you wish to speak with me.
Ah, Tungdil, come in. There is a bag over there in the cupboard. Take it out, please. It contains artifacts belonging to my former famulus Goren. I wish to return them to him. He's in Black Saddle, 300 miles away.
300 miles?
Gonna have
That's
to
a
burn a
long
ring
journey.
down, aren't you?
Who are you going to
Maybe.
trust with this?
Maybe.
I was thinking of you.
Me?
There is no one better to take on this journey. You have acquired much knowledge. You are almost a scholar. You know more than most famuli about Girdlegard and its inhabitants. It is time for you to go out into the world and see it with your own eyes.
You see his eyes just light up in this.
pleasure.
Like, it's obviously kind of exaggerated somewhat, but they do a really nice job with the direction of the cutscenes and the physicality of what characters are doing at every given moment. It reminds me a little bit of Dark Messiah in that very specific regard, but more on that later.
What's in the bag?
Magical devices. You better leave the bag closed if you want to avoid any accidents. Dwarves don't really like magic, and magic doesn't like you either.
Vrakas gave us so much craftsmanship that there's no space left in our bodies for magic.
Strictly speaking, every time you've been too close to magic, it has ended in catastrophe.
Perhaps I'll meet some dwarves on my travels.
Yes, perhaps. But don't hold out too much hope. And be careful who you talk to. Not everyone out there likes dwarves.
Yeah, goblins. They abduct baby dwarves and sell them to magi, from what I've heard.
Not the best bit of business I've ever done. But what was I to do? The Longnoses threatened to throw you into the nearest river.
Can't tell if he's being serious there or not.
Be on your guard. Look after the bag and don't lose it. May Palandiel be with you. And Vrakas too, of course.
I'll set off immediately. I'll see you soon, Lot Yonan.
Alright. So I get the feeling that this simple task is going to turn out to be a very complicated one. But yes, you may notice we just got some money, and more importantly, we've got some food over here. And it's decreasing by the day. So there's going to be travel involved in this game. We'll get out to the world map and I'll show you how it works.
There was a time when you could hardly...
Let's see, there was something in here I was supposed to grab.
I wonder if dwarves ask Vrakas for help on long journeys.
The figure on the homemade altar doesn't answer.
If I hurry, I might be back in time for Sonia's birthday.
You're longing to see her face when you give her your homemade present.
Let's see, there was something. Unless... Do I have that already in my inventory? I think I do. Yeah, he made a gift for his friend here, and I think it's optional whether you give it to her before you go on your way.
Hello, Frala.
Hmm?
I've got a present for you.
Yeah, here we go.
You take out a symbol of protection that you've carefully made from 3 horseshoe nails.
It's not the finest jewelry in
See,
Girdlegard.
injuries as a statistic concerns me.
One
Yeah,
look at Frala's face
things
makes it
happen
clear
out on
that
the
it doesn't
road.
matter. She glows with happiness as she takes the pendant.
For me? But why?
Because you don't see me as an oddity, and you're like a little sister to me.
You could have said. But you settle with a shrug and a crooked smile.
I need provisions for 300 miles.
You're grinning from ear to ear. Finally, you've got the chance to see something of the world.
300? Tungdil, that's no errand. That's an epic journey. Wait, I've got just the right thing. But make sure the cook doesn't see.
I'm going to Black Saddle to return a few things to a former apprentice in the Magus.
You pocket the rye bread, sausages, and ham. Enough food for the first few days of your journey.
Perhaps I'll even meet some dwarves on the way.
Gonna be a recurring
Frala
thing
throws
with this
you a
gentleman.
cautious glance. It's a tricky subject that you can't help but broach.
There aren't dwarves down here. You're the only one in Idaslane, as far as we know.
I know, but I can't just have been born out of a rock. Somewhere in the mountains, I have a clan. Maybe even a family.
Yes. Maybe.
Frala has reminded you more than once that Lot Yonan wrote to the dwarf clans, and none of them were missing a dwarf boy.
I have to go. I've got a long journey ahead of me.
Alright, let's get motoring.
I wish you the blessing of Palandiel and Vrakas to protect you from all danger on your journey. Here, a talisman. Whenever you look at it, think of me.
Frala winks at you mischievously.
And of getting me a nice present.
Okie dokie. Alright. Just a keepsake, very good. Alright, we got some money, we got some provisions. I see the provisions include some ale, very good. Very important for a dwarf. Now you can kind of muck around here and interact with a few other things here. Like, you can also poke at these tables, and we have the option to try and pilfer some food. And this is kind of a taste of things that we can potentially do.
Do you want something?
Did a horse bolt while you were trying to shoe it? It's certainly not on our plates.
Not getting no respect around here. So yeah, you can't actually steal food, but it's kind of an interesting little interaction. But anyway, let's get on the road, and let's show you the other half of the gameplay. Yeah, rev up those looms and get the children in line. I mean, you wouldn't try to dwarf sober, would you? Absolutely not. That's heresy. The worst kind of heresy. I like to think dwarves are basically Germans in that regard.
How nice to see you again, Lotyonen.
Oh, hi there, mutated Saruman.
Since we last met face to face.
Nudin, welcome. Please, sit down.
Just look at the way this guy moves around. He's got bad guy in a neon sign hanging around him.
You must come to Leos Nudin immediately. The perished land is stirring.
Are you sure? What makes you think that?
I found out about 60 orbits ago.
I like that little detail. You can tell right away he doesn't fully trust this guy.
Our barriers have weakened and become porous. The Elfar have left their land, and a huge horde of orcs have marched into Girdlegard.
Hey!
Were you able to strengthen the spell?
Tying back to the intro.
No. I can't repair the damage alone. We need the combined power of the 6. The other 4 are already on their way here, but we need your help too.
I will set off for Parista without delay.
Oh, and as you're coming, could you also take the opportunity to bring back the things that I lent to you?
Of course. I have them already packed in a bag.
Oh-ho-ho!
We'll be expecting you.
Oh yeah, there's something up and this guy knows exactly what's going on. Again, I love the attention to detail in the cutscene. There's just a lot of visual storytelling happening.
Sunlight, you squeeze your eyes tightly shut after only a few steps. The time spent underground has made you so sensitive to light that you're forced to seek shelter in the shade of a mighty oak.
Alright, so, welcome to the world map. So each node we travel on is going to consume 1 bit of resources. And we've got little adventures and stories that are going to happen on the way to our objective over here, which is Black Saddle. So let's get moving.
You reach a small lake by a birchwood. Your feet hurt and your eyes still sting in the unaccustomed sunlight. But a smile spreads across your face nonetheless. You've covered a decent distance on the first day of your big journey. You pitch your camp and lie down to sleep on the hard forest floor. When you awake in the morning, your legs are stiff and achy. Trying not to feel sorry for yourself, you throw your rucksack over your shoulder. You're a dwarf, and dwarves don't complain.
So yeah, it definitely has the feel of like the humble start of an epic adventure and giving you a sense of scope as you travel through the land. Now, if I recall right, I did play through a bit of this, and I think there's an encounter around here. Yeah, here we go.
With the sun high in the sky and the
so some encounters are fixed, and I think there are also some random stuff happening.
You see something move next to the road, a few hundred meters ahead. Some crows are pecking at something in the long grass.
Alright. Let's try and sneak up on them.
The creaking leather armor, the clattering rucksack, and a dwarf's inability to be quiet makes the crows flap around as you move from one bush to another.
There's just a lot of charm to the writing in this game.
Stand up straight and see 2 human bodies in the flattened grass.
Ah, but shit's getting real quickly. Let's take a look. Alright, so now we've got our little encounter here. Now this is what I mentioned with points of interaction. You want to look around carefully because sometimes it'll be obvious what you're meant to look at. Like you can see there's a body over there. Sometimes it's not because you're seeing if we can poke at tracks around here. And there's also bushes. Sometimes...
You don't see any signs of a struggle in the area where the corpses are lying. Were they stabbed by a companion? A stranger could hardly have crept up on them with such sparse cover.
Sometimes it does turn into kind of a pixel hunt, and sometimes there are details that might escape your notice if you're not careful in searching the area. Dwarves sneak by making it sure you understand.
On a tall, broadly built man.
Your kneecap's gonna get
dark
crumped if you
brown
don't look the other
leather
way.
armor that is strengthened with iron plates. There's a sword lying next to him. Was he trying to defend himself against something? Or someone? There is no blood on the sword.
Wasn't trying very hard from the looks of it. So yeah, now we turn the body over, we can get a better idea of what actually killed him.
By Vracus.
There are some narrow stab wounds in the man's chest. The cuts are too big to have been made by arrows, but too small for sword wounds.
Let's take a look at the other body here. Oh, that's a rucksack.
A rucksack that probably belonged to one of the dead. It seems to have been searched and then thrown away carelessly. You find a few implements, some provisions, and a map. A route is drawn on it from Parista, Nudin's capital, to Lot-Yonan's vaults.
Interesting. Alright. The other body was around here somewhere. Ah, here it is.
A slender man lies in front of you, dressed in an expensive robe.
Yeah, sword was planted by the elf cops.
Turgur the Fair-Faced, one of the 6 magi.
Yeah, I'm sure they were coming right
The
for
dead
him.
man must be one of Turgur's famulae. You don't see any wounds.
So we got a dead
Does
mage
this
here.
mean that
Interesting.
Turgur the Fair-Faced is in Parista and wanted to send Lot-Yonan a message? And if so, why didn't he use magic? Did he want to contact him without anyone noticing? Why all this secrecy?
So already there's more stuff going on with Lot-Yonan than meets the eye.
The man has the same incisions. It's clear that both men were killed by the same weapon. But what that weapon might be, you cannot say.
Interesting.
Nothing.
So yeah, that's a bit of a red herring, but over in this bush...
Nothing again.
You halt. There is something.
Another rucksack.
Alright,
You open the rucksack and recognize that someone has already rummaged through it. As well as some implements and writing utensils, you find a pouch full of gold and a talisman. The gold is proof that this is not a case of robbery.
Well, not yet a case of robbery. We'll take the talisman.
Warmth and a feeling of security flush through your body as you touch the talisman. You feel safer just holding it in your hand.
I'm taking you with me.
And we'll take the gold. Why
It's
not?
not a robbery if you're already dead.
You give the corpse an apologetic look. The gold coins join the others in your purse.
I mean, that's a fair argument. Can't really take it with you, can you? Murderers, you gotta search the bodies. I know, what the heck? What kind of low-rent thugs are we dealing with here?
You scour the area once more and ask yourself what to do next.
Alright. So yeah, if we want to, we can stay and look around. I think we found basically everything we can here. We can continue on, or we can bury the dead. So at these little nodes, you're going to have these little decisions. And this is something I wasn't expecting going in. So, again, it gives a sense of kind of this epic adventure where you're having these little sub-adventures along the
It's
way.
time-consuming and strenuous work digging shallow graves in the ground with a stick and covering the corpses with a few stones.
Hey, Octal, good to
But it
see
should
you.
at least keep
How's
the
it going
crows
tonight?
From their feasting for a while. You continue on your way so as to put a few more miles between you and your grisly find before night falls.
Alright, onward. So far, so good. Been a pretty good weekend, can't complain. Alright, let's go to the farmstead.
As the gable end of a small farmhouse and a barn appear from behind a hilltop, you hear the loud cries of children at play. A girl runs along the path laughing, followed by a small boy with a big stick in his hand. The boy is trying to catch up his sister with a determined look on his face, but is finding it difficult to keep his short legs under control on the uneven path.
Alright, so remember we were told back in the fortress that dwarves are very uncommon these days, and they might not necessarily be received warmly. So, we'll try to greet them amicably,
You
but...
walk towards the children. As you raise your hand to greet them, the boy catches sight of you. His eyes grow wide, and he points to you with a chubby little finger. All he can manage to say is, "There." Now the girl has turned to face you too. Before you can say a word, she lifts her little brother up into her arms and runs screaming towards the farmhouse.
Not the warmest welcome we've had today. But let's go see if the parents are a little more amenable.
Without rushing, you follow the children to the farmhouse, into which they've disappeared. After a few moments, they reappear, accompanied by their parents. Their father is a thick-set man with grey hair.
I am Opacha. This is my wife, Remsa.
The blonde woman nods a greeting almost imperceptibly and clasps her daughter tightly to her.
That is the face of a woman
She
who's
looks you
been
over
holding
with
that
an
smile
anxious
just a
expression.
little too long.
It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Tungdal.
You try to make your voice sound as harmless as possible.
So yeah, we've got some dwarf racism that we have to counteract out there.
Over the last few days, have you seen two travelers?
Yeah, the expression.
Opatia looks at his wife, but she shakes her head.
You ask?
Might as well be honest.
I found them. Two dead bodies on the side of the road. A good day's march east from here.
Dead bodies? She hastily covers her son's ears.
Was it orcs?
Remsa, what would orcs be doing up here? It was probably just bandits.
Honestly, it probably
I'm
was
afraid
neither
it
of
was
them.
neither orcs nor
Yep.
bandits. Now, I don't know who it was, but you're quite right to be wary of strangers these days.
Alright, let's get on the road.
You bid farewell and set off on your way. The children follow you for a while before saying their goodbyes in laughter and running back towards the farm.
Alright. Well, on we go. So there's a town over here. Let's see if we can get in there for the night. Now you see there's this guy running around, what appears to be a dwarf merchant. We'll try to intercept them on the way.
You look down on a large village on the banks of the Warder. Some of the village is built on stilts in the river. A wooden bridge spans the fast-flowing water. A huge wooden palisade has been erected to protect the village from attack.
Let's go take a look.
The guards on the palisade are watching you. Their armor looks well cared for and well made. The smith who made them knew what he was doing. You conclude that the men depend on the protection the armor offers and aren't just wearing them to look good. They're certainly not villagers.
Alright, so we're going to get a closer look at the town here. So yeah, it's not a real open world in the usual sense. It's more just kind of siloed off encounters in which you can run around, kind
There are
of
small
poke at
fires
stuff and
burning
explore.
every 50 steps or so. They are intended to light up the area in front of the palisade in the night, so that orcs can't creep up to within an arrow's reach without being seen.
But there's good attention to detail, and there's lots of little things you can interact with that sort of help give more context to the areas you come across and give you some options on how to
The double gate is made of
proceed.
strong planks, sturdy but still much less solid than the fixed parts of the palisade. Security has been forgone here for practical reasons. Never a good
Ooh,
idea
we got a
when
bakery.
building
Nice.
fortifications.
Pastries for everyone. Alright, let's greet these people.
Some of the guards begin to whisper as you near the gate.
Hello up there. What brings you to fair good water? And have you seen any orcs on your travels, groundling?
The man leaning over the palisade eyes you up and down carefully.
Goodwater is well known for its hospitality.
A fact that you've just made up yourself.
Let me in, and I will tell other travellers all about it.
I regret
Go
to
nuts,
inform
donuts,
you
and
that
the
we
logo's a
cannot allow
squirrel.
you to
Nice.
enter. The gate stayed closed once night has fallen.
There is certainly no regret showing in the man's face.
Alright.
The orc heads on the spears look fresh, a fact that causes you unease for more than one reason.
Those won't scare orcs away.
I hope not. The more orc heads that end up on those spears, the more gold coins that end up in our pockets. Right, boys? Yeah! That's right! Yeah!
I like to
We
imagine that
killed
it's
our
just the
fair
same guy
share
making
of
those
orcs
voices.
And know how to motivate them. Those ugly mugs will spur them on, and then they'll perish in front of our gates.
Ooh, that does sound like a
Two
good topic.
things become clear to you. Firstly, that the mercenaries the villagers have hired are excellent at killing orcs, and secondly, that they sadly have no brains at all.
When did you kill these orcs?
Yesterday. We caught a couple of their scouts first. The others tried to take revenge in the evening. Let's see who'll turn up today.
These guys have a death wish. Let's see what we can do for them. And also, let's see if we can hustle a little bit.
I'm a blacksmith. And a dwarf. Let me tell you, your gate might look solid, but it won't withstand a real orc assault.
We gotta play the dwarf card.
Murmuring all around him makes the man pause for a moment. If anyone else had criticized the stronghold, they'd have been laughed down and shooed away. But no one understands defense systems like the dwarves.
A dwarf blacksmith who just happens to be standing in front of our gates.
Let's put dwarf racism to work for us.
That's right. I can see to it that orcs crack open their skulls on your gate, just like at home on the High Pass. Skulls that add up to hard cash for you.
You only know about the secondling stronghold from books, but you can see in the man's face you've pushed the right buttons.
All right then. You can spend the night in the village. You begin work tomorrow morning, and it had better work like you promised.
Of course. It's a trifle.
I was bullshitting it, but hey, you know, maybe I can fudge my way through it. And how are they gonna know the difference, right?
After a meal, you spend the night in the comfort and shelter of a Goodwater tavern. The next morning, you feel fully refreshed. You strengthen the gate with cross braces of wood and iron, using your experience and skill.
Fortunately, we do know
Now
what we're
it should be
talking
able
about.
to withstand an attack for much longer. Mercenaries and villagers alike watch you work, clearly impressed. As you finish, a man approaches you.
Well done, dwarf. We were right to bring you into our village.
The village grew rich through bridge tolls, and this wealth must be defended.
Alright, let's see if we can get a little bit of a reward for this.
I've spent almost half an orbit strengthening the gate. How about a bit of compensation?
The council member's face darkens.
We've paid for food and lodgings, and because we're generous, we've also thrown in the bridge toll.
God damn it.
Good day, Mr. Dwarf.
Alright, only gets us so far. Well, we got some free food out of the deal, so back on the road.
An uneasy feeling has been your constant companion since you left Goodwater. Every little sound in the forest makes you fear you've been discovered by a horde of orcs. But you reach the end of the day without bumping into any of the greenskins. It seems as though Vrakas has granted you one more day in Girdlegard.
Lucky
As
us.
night begins to fall, you pass a large oak tree and decide to call it a day. Near the oak tree is an abandoned camp with a fireplace, which appears to be a couple of days old.
Well, let's take a look. Camp at the old fireplace and try to stay awake. Camp hidden in the crown of the old oak tree. Yeah, let's be careful about this.
You swing yourself up the trunk and then pull up your baggage after you. You're prepared to sleep in a tree like a bird if it means escaping the orcs' attentions. You sling your rope twice around your stomach and the trunk of the tree to stop you from falling accidentally. You close your eyes.
Climbing trees seems an anathema to being a dwarf, but we are on the surface.
And smell the fresh, icy wind.
We have to
that
adapt.
sweeps over the peaks of Great Blade and Dragon's Tongue. But the harmony is interrupted by the hideous roar of an unending flood of orcs throwing itself unceasingly against the fortification. You smell the disgusting green blood of the orcs and taste the rancid fat of their armor on your tongue. The bitter taste becomes stronger until it's unbearable and wrenches you out of your dream. You open your eyes and are surprised at the brightness as a glance at the sky confirms that it's still night. Your eyes move towards the ground, and what you see makes the blood in your veins freeze.
Okay. Are we gonna get to kill Are we gonna get to kill someone? Ooh, I think we are. Oh yeah, it's orc killing time. Oh shit. That's gonna be a problem.
Synthras of Son Balsur. My master, Nod On the Doublefold, ruler of the perished land, has elected you, the lords of Taboribor, to be the sword that conquers the south.
You mean you want us to put our necks on the line and be killed by some magus?
Lord Yonan and the others will be taken care of. Your task is to create a diversion in the south until my master's plan succeeds.
And which of us is the leader?
The one that conquers the most land.
So Kragnar will be the new Grand Lord.
Well, he is the biggest.
Yes, at Ushnots and Bashkog.
The Kragnar Shore tribe will conquer the most land.
Never! We will overwhelm the cities of the Red Bloods quicker than you can suck the marrow from a bone.
We shall see.
You can't believe what you're hearing. If the beasts of Tion ride into battle together, catastrophic cycles lie ahead for Girdlegard.
Yeah, we can't afford having orcs cooperate. That would literally upset the balance of power in the galaxy.
The night in the oak tree was the worst of your life. You spent every single moment afraid that you'd be found and savaged by the orcs. But as the first rays of sun broke through the treetops, the orcs abandoned their camp and left without discovering you.
Fortunately, our penalty to stealth is vastly offset by their penalty to perception. They're basically as bad as me about this.
Better safe than sorry.
Your eyes scan the deserted camp, and you listen carefully for any noise. But you don't see or hear anything suspicious.
Alright, time to move on.
You're overcome by the urge to vomit. You have, of course, heard the stories, but seeing with your own eyes that orcs actually do eat humans is a long way from just reading about it.
This is the place. I knew it was here. Come on then, find that stupid necklace.
Ooh, here we go. Now we're gonna get to kill some orcs.
In front of you. A grounding. Perfect for a spotted breakfast.
Oh, we're gonna make you work for it, bitch.
You know that you're no warrior, but you want to face the orcs as a child of the Divine Smith. Perhaps you'll manage to kill at least one of them, so as not to appear so undwarven in Varacus's eyes.
I'll give you something to chew on. Varacus made us of stone.
Oh. Shit. Man, we gotta grind some levels in Dwarf here. We're starting behind the 8-ball.
Oink, oink, little piggies!
Hey, here we go. I think we found us a proper mentor in being a dwarf.
By Barrowin's beard! How did you manage to lose your weapon?
It's my first
Go
day.
and get it, and this time, hold it tight. Hey, that one was mine.
You're just too slow, dear brother.
Hey, we get two dwarf
Just wait.
mentors. Excellent. Alright. Showtime!
Yeah. And what now?
Alright, what's this do? Okay, Blade Storm, multitude of blows. Leap, excellent. Now what do you got? Okay, Mighty Blow, lots of damage to a single enemy. Pushes all enemies back. Cool, alright.
Yes.
Alright.
What bad luck for you?
Okay, you're kinda getting shot up there, dude. You may want to stay by your buddies here.
Another one bites the dust. Yeah.
There we go. Alright.
And what now? I'm with you.
Use a way to heal. We're a bit lacking in that.
What is it? They're hitting me pretty hard.
definitely put up a
Alright.
What is it?
Of course.
Slowly but surely thinning the horde here.
What bad luck for you?
There we go. Okay.
Say goodbye forever. Too easy.
It can't end like this.
Oh, shit. Damn. Okay, we lost our main character. Alright. Let's try that again. Okay, so I think what we need to do is better distract the enemy and protect Tungdil. So yeah, while this looks like a very aggressive hack and slash situation, you really do want to stop and consider your actions carefully. In the case of Tungdil, stick to your battle buddies and let them do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yes.
Alright, let's let them back off and regenerate a little bit.
Yes.
Alright, good. Here we go.
Now.
Now we got some control over this again.
Ow. Hey.
Was that friendly fire?
Huzzah!
Alright.
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't hit you very hard.
Huh?
Oh, what bad luck for you. What is it?
Alright, yeah, I think we got this.
Others will take my place.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. I think friendly fire is off, and we're hitting each other, and that's kind of part of the problem here. So we need to pay better attention to the area of effect for those. That's going to be an issue.
Uh-huh.
Alright, well, lesson learned.
Yes.
Alright, so we need to stick together, but
Huh? Yes.
also need to make sure we're not hitting each other.
What is it?
Alright, good.
On my way.
Yeah, the guys definitely hit a lot harder, so almost certainly they're going to be a much higher level. Still, hey, we got a ring out. Nice.
At once.
Suddenly the Dark Messiah comparison seems even more apropos.
At once.
Alright, Tungdil, how about this? I want you to focus on this fella.
And again. Understood.
So it's not necessarily... It can be a bit difficult to tell, but it's not necessarily targeting an enemy with your abilities. It's more just aiming in the direction you want to use it. Basically, it'll let you activate an ability even if there are no valid targets for it.
Hit you very hard.
Understood. Of course.
Alright.
Luck for you.
Alright. So I think we want to pay more attention to friendly fire here, because it looks like it can happen even with basic attacks. That is definitely an issue. Okay, target's over here. Here you go. Nice, 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 nice. Alright, now we got this under control. I've said that before.
Easy.
Attack! What is it? I'm with you.
Alright, any more?
Now. On my way.
It's two more.
Fire you forever.
That's good. Done.
Alright.
I'm with you.
Alright, where's the last one?
That's good. Done.
He needs like a combat minimap.
Bad luck for you.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, that was much more smooth.
Oink oink.
So yeah, it seems like a pace to sort of keep them separated but not too far apart.
Friend, do you happen to be Tungdil?
Oh, hey, someone heard of us.
But he fought like a...
Boindale, what do you expect? He grew up amongst the humans.
Who?
Ah, so we got dwarf on dwarf racism now.
My name is Boindal Hookhand of the clan of the Swinging Axes. This is my brother, Boindale Doubleblade. We've been sent to find you.
Call me Ironheart. Are there any more piggy snouts around here?
Ah, you missed all the fun. They were here last night.
You turned up at just the right moment. But are you sure it's me you're looking for?
The High King Gundrabor sent us to fetch you and bring you to Ogre's Death in the Secondling realm in the south.
There's a promising
So he
name.
received the letter from my master. And am I a secondling?
Well, Something like that, I guess.
Right. About the orc
There
situation.
was a meeting last night. The Elfar serve a certain Nod On who calls himself Lord of the Perish Land. They have enlisted 3 orc hordes to cause unrest in the south.
Did you hear that, Boandal? Peggy snouts!
The Elfar from San Balzur and the orcs from Taboribor are working together?
And could ally with the orcs from the Perish Land.
The twins look at you solemnly. You all know what that would mean for the people of Girdlegard.
Then my family was found and the High King wants to bring me back to my clan.
No, you're not a secondling. You're a fourthling. And you're to...
The High King will tell you all about that once we get to Ogre's death. We should get going.
Alright, so we got some dwarf business.
We've got to...
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. But it's our duty to get you to the Ogre's Death Fortress in one piece.
I thought the duty of dwarves was to protect the innocent in Girdlegard.
Lot Yonan and King Broron will take care of the orcs. We 3 must be careful. You're not exactly a warrior.
But he has broad shoulders and broad hands. There's hope for him yet. So when you've got the chance to split a few orc skulls, you should take it.
I like the cut of this guy's jib. That eye has got that perfect touch of madness you want in a person whose job is to kill orcs.
I would be happy to follow you into the realm of the Secondlings. In truth, there is nothing I would rather do. But first, I must travel to Blacksaddle and return some things to a former famulus of Lot Yonan.
Blacksaddle isn't exactly on our way.
It's not that far
It's
away.
on my way. We can head south as soon as I've carried out Lot Yonan's orders.
Well, he's certainly got the stubbornness of a dwarf. Perhaps we'll be able to make a real dwarf of him on the way.
All right, we'll accompany you. The sooner we find that famulus, the quicker we can get back to the mountains.
Fuck yeah.
I'll have to send Lot Yonan a message by carrier pigeon on the way. And if we happen to stumble upon a couple of orcs...
I like you, but we'll have to find you another name.
Alright, so we're back up to dwarves plural.
It's about as good as lipsmith, paddletosh, or blufflegrump. It is stupid, senseless, and definitely not a name of honor. What are you good at?
I'm good at reading.
Reading?
Oh, dude. Lead with the smith stuff. Hey, alright. We're leveled up. Awesome. Getting better at being dwarf. All we gotta do is kill. Alright. Okay, so we got some abilities here. Lateral blow, dealing damage to several enemies, and a knockback. Nice. Or we sweep a single enemy, and we'll do a group knockback. Seems like we're gonna be wading into a lot of traffic in this game. Alright. Hey, we got some food. Elixir of strength, some money. Fuck yeah. See, Tungdil, all you gotta do is just kill people and you get all the traveling provisions you need. If you can call orcs people. Yeah, where do we get to dig a hole and sing the song? Presumably that's when we hit like level 4 or level 4 dwarf. Alright. So, now, as you can see, we're now using 3 provisions a day. So, let's get on the way here. What's this? 9? Oh, what? Hey! So we got other characters on the road here. Orc Horde. Okay, so that's a... Okay, so these are encounters. So these are also probably the relative difficulty of the things we encounter. So I'm assuming, yeah, if our relative group... If our average group level is like level 5, that would be an even match. So, let's see. There's a tavern here. Fuck yeah. We've earned that drink.
You arrive at a crossroads with a tavern on the corner. A warm light is emanating from its window, lighting up the road around it. A stone sculpture of a sheep stands in front of the door, and above it a sign, swaying gently in the breeze, reads, "The Stone Sheep."
So it's not just a clever name.
You observe the surroundings, but the road is empty, and no one leaves the tavern. You notice a broken window on the first floor, which has been boarded up with planks. Something wet drips onto your nose, and you look up to the cloudy sky with a bad-tempered expression.
Yeah, boy.
Why are we standing here and just getting wet from the outside?
The ceiling is leaking. We had to go inside.
You enter the tavern with a determined stride, and are greeted by a thick wall of pipe smoke. The dozen or so drinkers at the tables turn towards you, then give each other astonished and slightly worried
You call
looks.
yourselves drinkers, we're gonna show you how it's fucking done.
In the tavern, there are half a dozen people sitting at the tables, and just as many at the bar, clearly farmers and labourers from the surrounding villages. Boindale pays no attention to the other guests and trudges over to a table. Together with his brother, you follow him and sit down. The landlord comes out from behind the bar.
What can I get you?
You hear surly muttering from one of the tables.
What are groundlings doing showing their faces here, now of all times?
Hey, we're out there fucking adventuring, alright? We're doing some random adventures, we're trying to get some experience. Give us a break here. Alright. Alright, so we got options. Ale for me and two of my friends. Fuck yeah!
I wouldn't mind a pint of ale.
The landlord nods and takes the twins' order too. Shortly after, he returns with your beers and puts them down in front of you.
Is that all?
Alright, let's see what them Yumis call beer around here.
Did two travellers pass this way? One was a famulus, the other a mercenary.
The landlord shakes his head indifferently and mumbles something incoherently. One of the guests is about to say something, but shuts up when the person next to him gives him a poke. You turn to the guest who is silenced.
Were you going to say something, my friend?
I'm not your friend, and I wasn't going to say anything either.
The man glances at his neighbour and then turns his attention back to his beer.
I see how it is.
You stand up and turn to the room.
This round's on me.
The faces of the guests and the landlord brighten up immediately. The landlord gets to work pulling everyone a beer and handing out the tankards. Some of the guests say cheers to you as they get their drinks.
Nothing like a little social lubricant to get people talking.
Come on now, tell us what happened. We're all friends here.
The man who was going to speak the first time round looks over to his neighbour, who nods.
Two travellers spent the night here. One had a robe on, the other was a mercenary. The next day they left, all in a hurry. Said they'd been attacked by an elf.
One of the other drinkers finds his voice too.
There was a hell of a lot of noise that night. As if there'd been a dust-up.
You left some gold here for the trouble. I thought they meant the noise, but then I noticed the broken window.
The landlord sighs.
Please, don't tell anyone else about this. Who will want to spend a night in a tavern where an elf has been sighted?
Alright, that explains things. What do you got for sale? Alright, so we can buy provisions. So I'm getting a little bit of like a Banner Saga vibe from this, combined with kind of like a Road Warden feel, where there's just a series of adventures that can happen on your way to major plot happenings, and it's kind of about which route you take there and what you do with certain decisions points. Let's see, so we can sell some stuff. Ooh, healing potion. Don't have a lot, however. But yeah, what the hell, we could use this. Yeah, it looks like there's only one. But better one than none. And I guess we'll buy some provisions, why not? Say... yeah, 5 days worth of provisions, how'd you do? Alright, let's mosey.
We're tired and long for a proper bed.
Of course, gentlemen.
You spend a restful night in the tavern and then head off on your way again.
Alright. So there's our destination here. So we're getting pretty close. I think we'll wrap up the stream once we get to Black Saddle. But what do we got here in the meantime? Steepleton, huh?
There are dead orcs lying in the defensive trenches and strewn over the meadows in front of the city. Some of the locals are busy throwing the bodies on pyres, while others repair the minor damage done to the city wall.
Yep.
You enter the city
have a look
and
around.
the garrison at its centre without being spoken to. It is only when you reach a heavy oak door that leads, you assume, to the commanding officer's headquarters, that you are halted by a guard.
Dwarves, eh? Seems we aren't to be spared anything these days. What do you want?
To level up, mostly. But I also like to know what's going on here.
It looks like you've got an orc problem.
Had. Our scouts detected the army early on, and we were able to repel them without any great losses. A small army of orcs like that couldn't breach our mighty walls.
Your mighty walls look like they're about to collapse under their own weight!
The soldier isn't intimidated by Boindil. He juts his chin out confidently.
At least they stopped the orcs, unlike your dwarven walls in the north.
Oh, them's fighting words, brother.
I didn't know that Steepleton was so big. Impressive place.
We have fertile meadows. That's what we have to thank for the city's growth in recent years. At the time of my grandparents, Steepleton was
yeah,
now
blah,
we
blah,
have a
blah.
market, a temple, and of course, there are royal messengers stationed in the tower.
I must speak with your commander.
Commander Valor doesn't
must is a
have
bit
time.
strong.
He's
We're kind of
still
just
very
showing up
busy
here.
dealing with the aftermath of the orc attack.
Alright, well, let's give some information.
Commander Valor is dealing with the orc problem, and I have important information concerning it. I witnessed a meeting of the orc lords.
The guard eyes you with interest and tries to judge whether you can be trusted. Finally, he stands up, opens a door, and enters the room ahead of you. The commander looks up from his work. The guard repeats what you told him.
Your information about the orcs could be useful. We have fought them back, but not yet defeated them. Come in.
The commander listens attentively, and now and then asks questions, as you tell him about the 3 orc armies and the meeting of the chieftains with the Alv Sintharas.
This sounds very grave. I will send out messengers. We must be prepared.
The orc army that attacked you was able to escape?
What was left of it? They headed south. Unfortunately, I can't send anyone after them until the damage to the wall is repaired.
Hey, I think there's an opportunity to hustle here.
With a disgruntled expression. It suddenly seems clear to him who he has standing in front of him.
If you're interested, you could try and wipe out the mob that got away and collect the bounty.
I smell a chance for money.
And getting paid for it? Where's the hedge?
You grin at Boindil, and then turn back to the commander.
Dwarves are fantasies bros.
We must
They're
press
just
on.
always... Oh, damn it.
Farewell, Commander Valor.
Kill as many orcs as you can, dwarves. Palandir will be with you.
Ka-ching. Alright, so I guess we can't take that on just yet. Oh well. Alright, Mr. No Fun Allowed, let's move on.
You see a camp with a wagon and 2 people on the edge of the path. Behind them, Black Saddle towers up above a thick, dark forest, about a half a day's journey away.
Yeah, let's go talk to him.
You don't want to give them a shock, so you address them while you're still a distance away.
Hello, friends. Is there any space by your fire?
The 2 traders look up and visibly jump when they see you 3 dwarves.
Ah, hello. Yes, of course.
It doesn't escape your attention that you seem to be causing the traders some uneasiness, but you take up their offer and sit down. The twins follow your example.
This feels like
We're
it goes
only
south
settlers.
real quickly.
We're looking for someone who's said to live on Black Saddle. A hermit.
Someone who lives here?
The traders exchange amazed looks.
If they live here, they must be mad.
Normally we wouldn't stop and rest here, but the horses are too exhausted. Our departure from Parista was delayed and we must have driven them too hard.
Why does Black Saddle make you feel uneasy? It doesn't look particularly inviting, but it's only a mountain.
Only a mountain? You don't know the legend?
The trader looks at you and the twins for affirmation, but you all shake your heads.
Black Saddle was once known as Cloudpiercer, and it towered up into the heavens, the upper slopes of pure gold and the summit covered in snow. The humans wanted to attain this wealth, but the smooth slopes and the dazzling summit made the climb impossible.
So we cut the mountain
They called on
down.
the dwarves
Genius.
to help them. They were able to tunnel up through Cloudpiercer to the top. They hollowed it out and carried away the gold. The humans demanded that the treasure be shared, but the dwarves refused.
I mean, we
And
did
as
all the
they
work.
argued, the mountain began to tremble. There were too many holes inside for it to hold together. It collapsed and buried both greedy parties underneath it. The mountain lost its tremendous size and its beauty, and ever since has haunted both humans and dwarves with its erosive hatred, causing even the rocks to turn black over time.
So what you're saying is we kicked so much ass at mining, we brought down a mountain.
Sounds
That's
like
awesome.
You and tittle tattle. Dwarves would never hollow out a mountain so much that it collapses.
You shut up. We'd do it if it was awesome, and that is awesome.
You come from Parista. How are things there?
No news to
Average
speak
dwarf
of,
W,
I'd say.
exactly.
Well, except for Nudin the Knowledge Lusty.
You know Nudin the Knowledge Lusty. Lot Yonan introduced him to you many years ago during a visit.
What about him?
Okay,
Oh,
a guy
nothing
named
really. Just
Nudin
rumors.
You
with
nod at the
anything
trader
hyphen
continues.
lusty as part of their title is
Strangely and
concerning.
disappears into his tower for days on end.
Well, he looks ill, apparently. But that's what someone I know said. Perhaps he got a spell wrong.
Alright, well, don't need to
Later in
bother
the
these
night,
guys for trading. Let's get out of
after
here.
eating together and some friendly conversation by the campfire, you all decide to sleep. But you take the first watch.
Excuse me.
It's a night in which nothing happens, and the next morning the traders set off early. After breakfast, you also continue on your journey.
Alright. Off to Black Saddle.
After a march through the thick pine forest, Black Saddle, the sinister tabletop mountain, and your journey's destination rises up before you.
Alright. Hey bro, got your magic stuff.
Are you sure that the famulus lives here?
I admit I'm having my
According
doubts.
to Lot Yonan.
Although you try to put a lot of assurance into your voice, you too see no signs that anyone lives here.
No castle, no tunnel, no camp. There's nothing here but mountain.
Then we'll have to take a closer look.
You do that, scholar. We'll be waiting for you here.
You think about objecting, but it would just be a waste of breath.
Alright, well.
Anything? A hidden camp?
No. Not yet.
Okay. So, no special conversation there. Time to look around. Hey, here we go.
No trace of Goren here either. If he's close, then there must be some kind of cave somewhere in the mountain.
Of course it would be in this spooky, misty forest. Not like a big sign saying, hey,
We can
we're
only
here.
climb a little way here. There must be a better way. An old tree. Looks like it could fall down at any moment.
Let's make
There
that
we go.
moment now. Perfect.
Too steep. I can't get a grip anywhere. If Goren is here, then he is further up. I should find some kind of clue before I climb down again. I should be able to get up here.
Of course he'd be further up the mountain.
Oh. Phew. That was close.
Alright, well, that's certainly not going to happen again. Let's try climbing again.
This is all worth it.
Like a cliff face would ever get less stable after a rock slide, right?
Definitely a rock face.
Thanks, Dongdil. Very helpful.
Here's a... No, forget it.
Getting that shit's gonna go down feeling. Call it a hunch.
There's something engraved on it.
You realize with surprise that they are runes in the dwarven language.
I like that there's actually an inscription there.
Built with the blood of our enemies, be unyielding as the rock, and soak the land in their blood.
Hey! There it is. You may want to, like, go get your friends, dude. This is how ambushes happen. See, this is why you need dwarf mentors.
Hello?
Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Do we have puzzles? I think we got puzzles here. Also, I can't see shit. A torch would be really helpful.
Master Garen! Lot Yonan sent me to bring some items back to you. My inquiries are almost at an end. That means I can finally go to be with my sunshine. I have never been to Greenglade, but I think I will like it there.
Yeah, seriously.
I deposited my most valuable things in the grave of Horengarth before my departure.
The only puzzle I want is how to decapitate an orc quickly.
The password is...
You recognize the following words as rune names, but they're written in the learned language, so you don't know which they are.
Greenglade. Oh, great.
Hey, a light source. Get it.
Useful. An eternal flame. I know who taught him that.
And now we're talking.
Hello? Is anyone there?
My dwarf coaches didn't teach me how to prepare for this. We didn't really cover ghosts yet. What we got here?
A series of weapons that are all clearly of dwarven origin. The spider webs and rust suggest they have been here for quite a while. Maybe even centuries.
Okay, I can't tell if shit went down here, or this is just normal wizard, like, secret hideout stuff. Like, he just left and all this stuff is just would normally be here.
Sarcophagus. Perhaps I could open it.
Just hard to tell if this is going to be a trustworthy wizard or if this is, oh, Jesus Christ! Alright. Well, that sure lightened the mood a bit. Haha! Broken pillars, shit went down. Yeah, that figures. Okay, try to open the sarcophagus with force. That is obviously a bad idea. So...
A rune. Clearly magical.
Oh, hey! Alright, responded to the flame here. Alright. Alright. Are there environmental clues? Because it looks like the rune automatically fades, so... There's probably a precise order, but there's no way to tell what kind of progress we're making. Oh, wait, here we go. I see it. Okay. So. Yeah, I see that one's like... Looks kind of like a river or something. Problem is, it doesn't really give us any indication of an order. Damn it, I'm here to kill orcs, not solve puzzles. This was not on the curriculum.
You see sketches and notes on the architectural features, statues and wall reliefs. It seems Garen spent a lot of time studying this place.
Maybe he's kind of a dwarf historian, or maybe he's just a treasure hunter.
Hey, Robo! Doing good. Learning how to be a dwarf and solve puzzles, apparently. How you doing tonight? Explain to me again how orcs of all people would do puzzles too. Yeah, seriously. They wouldn't solve the puzzle, they just send expendable mooks at it until they brute force it. What's this? Light the campfire? Here we go. including Vey tomorrow with newly revised Retro Thursday. Nice, nice. Yeah, the throwback stuff's fun to kind of go back and check out, see how it holds up. See if you can beat that one particularly hard bit you remember, or if your skills have gotten worse over time. I know that's how it is for me. Sometimes I look back and think, I could figure this out now, and only sometimes is that the case. Anyway, let's go talk to our dwarf bros. See if they've got any ideas about puzzle solving. Yeah, unless they're DAO and the game just crashes and makes it annoying to stream. Yeah, that game does not enjoy being streamed very much. It's a shame. It's a good game. It holds up. Fellas!
So, Scholar, what are the results of your inquiries?
More episodic in nature, be posted on YouTube.
In
Nice!
the mountain, and I think it belonged to the Thirdlings.
Boindale's eyes narrow.
The blasted dwarf killers!
A Thirdling fortress? Here? In the middle of Girdlegard? We must let High King Gundrabur know about this.
The fortress
This
has
is
been
some
long abandoned.
dwarf-ass
by the looks of it.
dialogue here.
Anyway, I can't go to Ogre's death until I have completed my quest. Goren is in Greenglade.
Huh.
The High King. Why do you want to bring me to him?
All right then. It's about the choice of the new High King. Gandagar, the king of the Fourthlings, is with his entourage in Ogre's death and is supposed to ascend the throne.
But our acting High King Gundrabur wants to prevent that from happening. He fears that Gandagar wishes to instigate a war against the elves.
But what have I got to do with that?
Boindale is about to say something, but is silenced by a nudge in the side from his brother.
High King Gundrabur will explain everything when the time comes.
Yeah, I'll bet he will.
Looked distrustfully from one twin to the other. Boindale has donned an innocent expression, and Boindale doesn't give you the impression that he has anything else to say on the matter.
A Thirdling fortress? Here, in the heart of Girdlegard. That's strange, isn't it?
And worrying. But they've always been wily. They move in the shadows and kill there too if they can. Do you know their story?
I've read about it. Lorenberg, their progenitor, rejected the name that Vrakas gave him, who in turn did not give him any special talents, so his kingdom studied war.
It helps them defending the East, but it also meant they ended up confronting the other kingdoms. No dwarf would ever even think of injuring one of his kind. Never mind
I
killing
mean, you
them.
say that. There was a lot of
The
friendly
dwarf
fire
killers
in that
are
last
proud
fight.
of it. When they were even more powerful, they wanted to become the rulers of all dwarves. They are envious of our skills. They haven't been heard of for a long time, but you can be sure there isn't a single dwarf alive who doesn't hate them.
Alright, well.
Whatever, your High King must wait. I have a quest to carry out in Greenglade.
But our quest is...
Boindale raises a placatory hand and throws his rucksack onto his back in preparation.
Let it be, dear brother. Look at him. He has made his decision, and you will not be able to change his stubborn dwarven mind.
You can't help but smile.
Alright, back on the road. And about the hour and a half mark, I think we'll call it there. So yeah, drop a save here, because I do want to get back to this. I kind of want to see where this goes. We'll just say, just whatever the default name is. I can't think of any names right now. So yeah, it's an interesting combination of real-time tactics and managing like several hero characters against a horde of enemies, and this kind of like sort of open world map progression where there's just, like these little sub-stories that happen along the way. I like what it's doing. I want to see where the story's going. I want to see what other things it throws at the characters and such. It's interesting to have a fantasy perspective that's not, like a fantasy story that's not from a human perspective, and I'm curious what they're going to do to distinguish this particular flavor of it from the obvious influences of the genre. But yeah, that's the Dwarves. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a good night. No stream next week since we just finished Amnesia, so the following week we will most likely be getting to Baldur's Gate 3. Very much looking forward to that. Been a long time coming. But yeah, have a good night everyone. See you next time.